Good morning and welcome back to our channel, Cape Cod Like a Local. Today I'm with my preferred real estate attorney, Anthony Mazzeo of East Bay Title and Escrow in Osterville, Mass. And we're going to be talking about some of the nuances of selling a house that may be in an estate or trust or left, if it's been left to heirs. So there's some different things that have to be taken care of there and in different ways that you might have to do things based on the situation. So, Anthony, I guess to start off, is there a difference between when you're selling a house that already has a license to sell or if one is in an estate?
Yes, there is. There's a few nuances when a property comes out of an estate, and it also depends on if there was a will written by the decedent and whether that will requires a license to sell or not, because somebody can write into their will that you don't even need a license to sell, which can also help expedite the estate settlement process through the probate court.
And as a real estate agent, when we list a home, we put language right in there that if it's an estate, there's language right in the listing that says this is an estate sale. And you want to talk to that a little bit?
Absolutely. And one of the things I want to mention is when you do put it in the listing like that, you can have the attorney look at the estate ahead of time. So we can kind of see what's coming down the pike and see what challenges or what things may have been written into the probate that will help expedite the process. Whether if that license to sell language is included in the will, then that's great. If there is no will and it's coming out of an estate, we know that we're going to have a longer time period for you to market the property and for us to do the legal work. Without that will or without that license to sell language, we'll end up having to go in front of a probate court judge, and then the judge is going to look at any offers that come in and they'll have to approve those offers. And when you do have that language in the listing and in the estate, it can create some delays. So you want to find out what's in that will as soon as possible so we can help the sale happen as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and that's true. We've seen where you have a great buyer, but they just don't have the ability to wait as long as it may take to settle that probate, if that's the case. So many times when we're selling a home and it's in an estate, they assign a personal representative, even though there are many heirs. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. The personal representative, and it was formerly known as the executor or executrix, so you might be familiar with that language, but that's the person that can basically get appointed by the judge to sign official legal documents, to sign the listing agreement, to sign a purchase and sale agreement, to sign the deed eventually. So the personal representative of the estate is the person that makes all those decisions. They do have a fiduciary responsibility for the beneficiaries. One of the things that they need to do is get highest and best offer for the estate sale. And when the beneficiaries and the personal representative are on good terms and are getting along, it can help the process, because any filings we have to do with the court, we can get a sense from the beneficiaries. So when the beneficiaries are on board with what's going on and they're getting along, it can definitely make the process a little easier.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've all dealt with them when the beneficiaries don't get along. And I just always believe that there is a way to make sure that your heirs all get along afterwards, and that's really in the way you hold the property. And what's your opinion on that?
As far as holding it individually or in a trust, maybe?
Yes.
So the revocable living trust is a type of estate planning document that people owning a property can get out ahead of some of maybe these issues, and they can dictate who would receive their assets, when they would receive any assets of an estate. And the nice thing about a revocable living trust, when somebody puts their property into a trust like that, is that you have full control through your lifetime of the property. You could sell anytime you wanted to. You could rent. You could mortgage the property. So you would set it up as you would be the original trustee of, Dan's Revocable Living Trust. Dan has the ability to do anything he wants with the property. But the nice thing about the trust is you set up the blueprint for what happens afterwards. You set up what happens if you're not able to sign documents legally, or once you may have been deceased, you set up successor trustees. And that will significantly simplify the sale of a property without court involvement, with minimal privacy invasion, because you don't have to go in front of a judge and file a probate.
Yeah, we find it's much like a regular sale at that point. It's much easier, and it's easier going through probate and all that. I find is people are doing these things during the worst possible time in their life. They just lost someone, more often than not, that they care very deeply about, and all of a sudden now they've got to get involved with with probate. It's a lot of legal stuff. It's gathering of a lot of information, where a trust seems to smooth that process a lot more.
Absolutely. It smooths the process. If a parent has put the time in to put a trust together, generally they're going to have a full binder of information to help their children and help their heirs sort out the affairs during a difficult time.
Yeah. I like the fact that he calls it a blueprint, because we've had this all done for our properties, and it really is. It lays out if Darcy and I should pass, our kids know exactly what to do. It's just a step-by-step process, and at that point they could do whatever they want. They could sell the property, that fast. So it's really if you're going to do your heirs a favor, is hold your property in a trust. And I'm not a lawyer, by the way, so I can't really, I'm not licensed to give you legal advice, but I do see it a lot. And talk to your attorney or call Anthony, and he would help you with that process and point you in the right direction. So where an estate is a little bit different, and you were going to help someone sell a property that's in an estate, what types of things are you looking for? What types of documents are you looking for to help smooth that process?
Right off the bat, I'm going to be looking at the original deed to see who actually owned the property at the time of death. Was the property previously jointly owned with a spouse that may have predeceased? And then I'm going to look to establish on record at the Registry of Deeds who now owns the property and who has the control to help sell the property. So we'll be looking for things like death certificates, maybe estate tax, lien releases or affidavits. We're going to look immediately, was there a will that we can either help probate for you or refer to somebody who can help you probate the estate. But between wills, the actual deed, and death certificates are what definitively will establish ownership and transfer of the property.
Absolutely. And if you're someone's willed you a property and you're just not sure what the next steps are, rewind and look for some of these documents. If someone's kind of in their final days, and then you're going to be dealing with this, it will take a little pressure off you to start organizing those things, and maybe have a discussion with that person and about where these things are located, where the different documents and things that they already have are located. Because we do find that after someone passes, it's a terrible time for people to have to go through what they go through, and many times they're trying to put together a puzzle. And it's like someone hid the pieces of the puzzle all over their house.
Yeah.
I guess, really just get on it early and do what you can to be as prepared as possible. And we know it's a terrible time to have to do any of this, but just being prepared makes it a lot easier. And again, we're going to include Anthony's contact information. We've used him for years. We trust him 100%. Many of our clients continue to use him. Any other final words there on this topic, Anthony?
I think just, preparation, working with people you trust, asking questions, so you're not surprised. And the sooner you start asking those questions and getting those answers, we'll be able to help out.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for watching this week's video. We hope you found it valuable, and we'll see you next week.